Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead #1. It is a DC book, and it is by Bruce Campbell, Edward Riso, and Christian Rossi. And we start off in Berlin in 1944, and Hitler is about to lose the war. All of his forces are in retreat, and he's getting updated on just how bad they're losing. And he does not like what he's hearing, so Hitler kills the man who's relaying that information, and then he tells his doctor in the room to implement the regeneration plans. Then we cut to a night in the near future where some American soldiers are on watch duty and they see some Nazis walking towards them in a field, and they open fire, but the Germans do not stop, and they end up becoming completely overrun. Then we cut to Sergeant Rock, who at this moment is now stuck directing traffic because the war is almost over. They're just waiting for Berlin to get taken. But because Sergeant Rock's company, Easy Company, is the best there is, a messenger comes up and tells Sergeant Rock that his men are needed immediately, and this is a level 9 assignment, which means it's super serious. So they get briefed on the events that took place a couple nights ago, where the 2 American soldiers were overrun by the Nazis. And once they get briefed that the Nazis are taking bodies and a cocktail of a bunch of different drugs to certain locations, and those locations are where they're going, they get shown why the Nazis need bodies. And it turns out that the Americans were able to capture one of these zombies, and they're holding it for study. So as Sergeant Rock and his men are looking at the zombie, who seems pretty docile in his cage, the zombie turns and sees them, and he immediately becomes enraged, and he begins to tear out of his cell. And that's where I'm going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I picked this comic up because I'm a fan of Bruce Campbell from the Army of Darkness movies and TV shows. And I also like Edward Riso's art most of the time and everything he does. So I figured this might be a fun one to check out. Obviously, it's kind of going to be tongue-in-cheek because Bruce Campbell's kind of a silly guy. But it's almost that time of the year where a lot of horror comics start coming out. So I figured I'd try this one out. I actually thought Bruce Campbell's writing was pretty good. I don't think I've ever read a comic by him, but the writing didn't come off clunky or over-wordy. So either he got some help or he kind of understands the medium and knew how to write for comics. I thought Edward Riso's art was pretty cool, and possibly because of the subject matter, it really had a Mike Mignola vibe. And I don't think I've ever seen that in his art before, but when you're drawing Nazis in World War II and you have his angular style, it really looks like this kind of fits in that world of Hellboy, which would actually be pretty cool to see. Overall, I thought it was a pretty fun comic. It's definitely set up. It's the first issue, but we did get some zombie goodness, and we got the feel of how Bruce Campbell writes Sergeant Rock, and I feel like he's got a good mix of humor and seriousness for the title he's writing. So I'm going to give this book a 3.5 out of 5. Thought the art was solid, thought the writing was good, and this was a solid start to this miniseries, which seems like it's going to be pretty fun. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.